Did you know Madonna's daughter just shocked the world with a jaw-dropping transformation? From being the daughter of a pop legend to making a bold statement of her own, she's turned heads and left everyone speechless. This isn't just a makeover. It's a total reinvention that's breaking the internet. Get ready to see her in a whole new light. This is a change you won't believe. The early years, Lord Leon's childhood? Well, it was anything but ordinary. Imagine being born into one of the most famous families in the world, Madonna's daughter. From the moment Lourdes came into the world in 1996, she was tied to a name that carried weight. While most kids get to grow up without anyone really noticing them, Lourdes didn't have that luxury. She was immediately under the public's eye, and that came with a whole lot of pressure. Being Madonna's firstborn meant Lourdes was often held to a standard that most kids couldn't even imagine. Madonna wasn't just a pop star, she was the pop star, setting trends, breaking boundaries, and constantly evolving. So, yeah, it would be tough to carve out your own identity when your mom is a global icon. But Lourdes? She wasn't going to let that stop her. Instead of shrinking into the background, she was determined to find her own voice, her own style, and live life on her own terms. And boy, did she. From an early age, Lourdes made it clear she wasn't going to be the cookie-cutter celebrity daughter that everyone expected. She didn't want to follow the usual Hollywood mold. Instead, her fashion choices spoke volumes. Forget the typical glitzy gowns. Lourdes preferred mixing quirky with sophisticated. Baggy jeans with a fancy blouse or sneakers with a formal dress. She had a punk rock edge that was all her own, a style that rebelled against the usual expectations placed on a star's kid. And it wasn't just her clothes. Lourdes had this confidence, this unmistakable attitude that said, "I'm not here to be your typical Hollywood offspring." And that attitude, it was exactly what we needed. Every time she appeared with Madonna, Lourdes's body language spoke louder than words. She wasn't afraid to be bold, to challenge norms, and express herself on her own terms. It wasn't just about the fashion, it was about Lourdes making it clear that she was a force in her own right, not just the daughter of a legend. As Lourdes got older, she didn't back down. Sure, being Madonna's daughter meant that the spotlight would always follow her, but Lourdes didn't let that define her. While other celebrity kids might have run toward the attention, Lourdes did the opposite. She leaned into her independence. She enrolled in college at the University of Michigan, looking for a quieter, more normal life away from the constant buzz of Hollywood. And when the world expected her to follow her mom's high-profile footsteps, Lourdes chose to stay out of it, preferring to build a life that was uniquely hers. Still, when you're the child of Madonna, the media doesn't exactly let you be invisible. Lourdes had to deal with all the attention, especially when social media started turning up the heat. But instead of caving under the pressure like many others in her shoes might, Lourdes spoke out. She wasn't afraid to call out online trolls and the toxic side of social media. In fact, she's been very vocal about how exhausting and damaging it is to deal with the constant criticism that comes with being in the public eye. And when people judged her appearance or made hurtful comments, Lourdes responded with a simple message. She didn't care. Her focus was on her own journey, on accepting herself, and not on satisfying others' expectations. But it's not just about shutting down negativity. It's about controlling her own narrative. Lourdes knows she'll never fully escape the shadow of her famous mother, but she's made it crystal clear that she's going to build her own path. And while the world might want to know every detail of her life, Lourdes is determined to keep the parts that matter most, her privacy, her peace, just for herself. Lourdes Leon's story isn't just about being the daughter of Madonna. It's about growing up in the spotlight and choosing time and time again to carve out a space where she can truly be herself. And for that, we can't help but admire her. Lourdes' career evolution. Lourdes' entry into the fashion scene was a seamless blend of opportunity and self-expression. In her early 20s, she began making waves in the modeling world, landing a few high-profile gigs that immediately caught the public's attention. Her first notable step into the spotlight came when she was featured in a Material Girl campaign, a fashion line launched by her mother in collaboration with iconic designer Madonna. Lords's youthful energy, quirky fashion sense, and undeniable presence perfectly embodied the spirit of the brand. This was just the beginning. Lords soon began to collaborate with various designers and fashion brands, each of her projects showcasing her distinctive personal style. Known for her unique aesthetic that mixed vintage, edgy, and bohemian influences, Lords quickly caught the attention of some of the most respected names in the fashion world. One of her early partnerships that stands out was with Stella McCartney, where Lords served as the face of the designer's campaign. Her effortless, cool, and strong, unapologetic vibe made her a perfect fit for the brand. One of the most significant milestones in Lords' career came when she was named the face of David Coma's collection. The partnership proved to be a pivotal moment, not only in Lords' career, but also in how the fashion industry began to see her as more than just Madonna's daughter. Lords' campaign for Coma was a bold statement about confidence, individuality, and self-expression, something that was so clearly reflected in her every pose. Lords embodied the essence of Coma's designs, sleek, elegant, and daring. She brought her own unique flair to his creations, often showcasing daring cuts, avant-garde styles, and high-impact fashion choices. But it wasn't just about wearing clothes for Lords. It was about owning the outfit and commanding the room. In each photo shoot, Lords seemed to exude the confidence of someone who knew exactly who she was and wasn't afraid to show it. Whether it was a sculpted dress that showcased her body or a more casual ensemble that hinted at her youthful playfulness, Lords's partnership with David Coma marked her transition from simply a model to a true fashion icon. Evolving into a bold fashion icon, Lords Leon's fashion journey has evolved from a young girl in oversized graphic t-shirts and sneakers to a bold, unapologetic fashion icon. As her confidence and independence grew, so did her style, making daring statements with thigh-high boots, sharp cuts, and loud designs. Lords became known for setting trends, not following them, confidently embracing her unique style without adhering to traditional fashion norms. Her fearless attitude has made her a fixture at red carpets, fashion weeks, and magazine covers, cementing her status as a fashion rebel. An unexpected yet stunning costume that confirmed Lords' capacity to make waves in the business was the attire that Lords wore to the Met Gala, which marked a major event in her ascension to an idol status in the fashion world. It is a credit to her maturity and determination to carve out her own identity that she has gone from being Madonna's daughter to being a prominent fashion star. She has worked with designers such as David Coma and established her own personal fashion business. In addition, Lords' journey demonstrates her development beyond the shadow cast by her renowned mother. As a result of overcoming obstacles related to body image and the expectations of society, Lords has honestly embraced both her body and her style. Instead of conforming to a predetermined beauty standard, she opted for comfort, self-expression, and self-assurance in her appearance. Lords has been a role model for body positivity through her use of social media and interviews. She does this by pushing for self-acceptance and encouraging others, particularly young women, to embrace themselves for who they are. As Lords matured, so did her confidence. She went from a hesitant teen to a woman who confidently owns her story, balancing public exposure with a need for privacy. In her 20s, Lords moved to Michigan for college, seeking a normal life away from the spotlight, which helped her further develop her personal identity. Lords and Madonna's complex relationship. Lords Leon's connection with Madonna has always been complicated, involving love, support, and conflict. Lords, Madonna's firstborn, was constantly followed by the media, which affected her connection with her mother. Lords has often described Madonna as a caring and inspirational character in her life, but also someone with whom she has disagreed, despite the obstacles of being reared in her shadow. Lords has thanked her mother for her wisdom and support, and Madonna has often discussed her motherhood. Madonna has always prioritized her children's education and well-being through rigorous protection. As the oldest child, Lords felt this duty early on. In interviews, she has said her mother was involved in her upbringing, ensuring she received the best education and instilled a strong work ethic. Lourdes remembers her mother's dedication to family despite fame's pressures. Despite her rebellious public character, Madonna was a hands-on mother who often incorporated Lourdes in her artistic pursuits, exposing her to stardom and art at a young age. Growing up in the spotlight gave them a special bond. Madonna is even attributed with encouraging Lourdes to be herself in fashion and music. Lourdes' relationship with Madonna has had its ups and downs, like many mother-daughter relationships. Adult Lourdes has spoken about growing up under a microscope, a scenario Madonna contributed to with her stardom. Lourdes had limited privacy as the daughter of a prominent woman. Madonna rebelled due to pressure and her strong will. In one interview, Lourdes expressed her early desire for independence, which Madonna's strict parenting approach sometimes clashed with. Madonna is known for being a disciplinarian, but she wanted Lourdes to make her own choices and define herself. Lourdes wasn't always happy with her mother's approach, and they had some conflict as she developed her own opinions. Lourdes has openly discussed how her friendship with Madonna has developed, despite their differences. In her 20s, Lourdes balances her mother's influence with her own path. Madonna's unconditional love and sometimes tough love approach have helped Lourdes become confident, shaping Lourdes' identity. Madonna's parenting style was a mix of tough love and deep understanding, two qualities that really shaped Lourdes into the woman she is today. Madonna wasn't afraid to be strict, but she also gave her daughter room to think for herself, be creative, and develop her own sense of independence. Growing up with Madonna as a mom meant that Lourdes learned the importance of hard work, resilience, and the need to push through tough times. But it wasn't always easy. With Madonna's worldwide fame came an inevitable level of public attention that Lourdes had to navigate from a young age. There was always that extra pressure, and it definitely added some challenges to their relationship. One of the things Madonna always emphasized was the value of self-respect and staying true to your beliefs. And Lourdes really took that to heart. You can see it in the way she carries herself, confident, unapologetic, and always ready to express her individuality. Whether it's through her bold fashion choices or her outspoken views on social issues, Lourdes definitely marches to the beat of her own drum. She doesn't shy away from being different, and that's a reflection of the confidence Madonna instilled in her. Being Madonna's daughter, of course, has meant Lourdes has always been in the public eye. From the moment she was born, the media had a keen interest in her, often scrutinizing her every move. Whether it was attending glamorous events with Madonna or being the subject of tabloid gossip, Lourdes couldn't escape the spotlight. And with that spotlight came a lot of judgment, especially about how she looked and the choices she made. As a teenager, Lourdes faced some tough moments. The media's constant scrutiny, particularly the online trolling and comparisons to her famous mother, were overwhelming at times. She's spoken out about how hard it was to live up to the public's expectations, especially when it came to body image and lifestyle choices. But through all that, she found strength. Lourdes learned how to cope with the pressure and focus on what really mattered to her, her own goals, her own dreams. Unlike many celebrity children, Lourdes didn't want to be constantly in the limelight. She made a choice early on to live a more private life. One of her first big moves was to go to school in Michigan, far from the Hollywood scene. It was her way of finding some normalcy and gaining a sense of independence away from the constant media attention. That decision helped Lourdes grow into her own person, without the overwhelming pressure that came with being in her mother's shadow. As Lourdes grew older, she became more vocal about the challenges she faced, particularly when it came to body shaming, online harassment, and society's unrealistic beauty standards. She's made it clear that she won't let those pressures define her, and she's not afraid to call out the media when it crosses a line. Her stance on self-expression has been a big part of her public persona, too. Lourdes uses fashion as a tool to express herself, often opting for bold, unconventional looks that challenge mainstream norms. She's shown that she's not afraid to stand apart from the crowd and embrace who she truly is. Lourdes' journey has been one of embracing her individuality, standing firm in her beliefs, and refusing to let the public's expectations hold her back. She's learned that it's possible to live authentically, even in the face of constant scrutiny. And as she continues to carve out her career, it's clear that she's determined to create her own legacy, not just as Madonna's daughter, but as a unique individual in her own right. So, what's next for Lourdes? With her creative spirit, the possibilities seem endless. She's already made a mark in the fashion world, with major modeling campaigns and collaborations with top designers like Stella McCartney and Marc Jacobs. But she's not just about modeling. Lourdes has shown an interest in music and acting, too. In 2012, she released a single under the name Lola, and with her distinctive voice, it wouldn't be surprising if music became a bigger part of her career in the future. Maybe she'll follow in her mom's footsteps, but with her own style and twist on things. Modeling will likely remain a key part of her career, though. Lourdes' bold fashion choices and fearless approach to self-expression have made her a favorite in the industry. She might even launch her own fashion line one day, who knows? She's already built a strong foundation, and it seems like the fashion world is eager to see more from her. Acting is another area where Lourdes could shine. Although she hasn't pursued it fully yet, her creative energy and confidence suggest she might take on acting projects that reflect her unique perspective. Given her artistic upbringing, it's a natural direction for her to explore. As Lourdes continues to grow and evolve, she faces the challenge of stepping out of her mother's shadow and carving out her own space in the world. The connection to Madonna will always be there, but Lourdes is determined to build her own legacy. She's made it clear that she wants to be recognized for her own talents, not just as Madonna's daughter. Over the years, we've seen Lourdes transform from a teenager dealing with the pressures of fame to a self-assured young woman ready to take on the world. And as she moves forward, it's clear that her independent spirit and unwavering sense of self will continue to guide her on her journey. Challenges and opportunities ahead. The path that Lourdes will take to achieve independence in the eyes of the public will definitely be fraught with obstacles. The pressure to perform at the level of a global icon like Madonna can be enormous, and it is probable that she will continue to be subjected to continuous comparisons to her mother. On the other hand, these difficulties, in addition to presenting chances for development and innovation, the opportunity for Lourdes to demonstrate that it is feasible for her to have a successful and fulfilling career in her own right, presents her with the opportunity to redefine what it means to be the kid of a pop icon. As Lourdes continues to mature into an adult, she will also have to manage the complexity of how the world perceives her. It has already been demonstrated that she is capable of dealing with criticism and scrutiny. Nonetheless, her ongoing development will need her to strike a delicate balance between protecting her privacy and making the most of the chances that come with her celebrity. Because Lourdes is able to remain loyal to who she is while also exploring new creative possibilities, it is quite probable that her legacy will be shaped in ways that extend beyond the celebrity of her mother. This will ensure that she is regarded as an influential individual in her own right. The future of Lourdes Leon is filled with tremendous possibilities. She is poised to establish herself as a versatile artist and fashion icon, all while remaining true to her roots, thanks to her drive to self-expression and the growing amount of work she has produced. Madonna's daughter has gone through a jaw-dropping transformation, leaving fans in complete awe. From her evolving style to newfound confidence, it's clear she's carving out her own path. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates.